If you are just joining us, live coverage of severe weather, which Scott and Steve have been covering all morning long, really began around 5:36 this morning with thunderstorms across the region that developed possible tornadoes. There you see on First Alert Doppler XP the warnings that are in effect for Vance County and also Franklin and Warren County. That's in effect until 11:30 with that line of storms that Scott's been tracking. There are other showers and storms too. Western parts of Chatham County into eastern sections of Sampson County. No warnings with those. But as Scott's been mentioning, and Steve, through the morning hours, you get these quick spin-up tornadoes in this type environment with a landfalling tropical system, the remnants of Lee, back out over west parts or middle parts of the Tennessee Valley. And we'll see these showers and storms through the afternoon. The tornado watch in effect until 2 could easily be extended into the afternoon hours. But if you're in any of these areas of northern Franklin County, western sections of Warren County, you want to just take cover. These tornadoes typically don't stay on the ground long, but they can produce damage, and even a weak tornado can do quite a bit of damage. You see there on the velocity, the signatures aren't always all that strong as they were back, say, in April when we had really strong signatures for tornadoes. But nevertheless, these tornadoes posing a threat, as Scott's been mentioning. So if you are in any of these areas, you want to take cover right away. There again is a look. If nothing else, you get very heavy rainfall in these areas of western Warren County and northern sections of Franklin County, a quick inch in an hour. These storms move pretty quickly, 30-35 miles per hour, but they can train over an area, and you get repeated areas of showers and storms and pick up those quick amounts of rainfall. Those are the tornado warnings, though. Franklin County, Warren County, northern Vance County, they're in effect right now. Heavy thunderstorm moved through parts of northern Wake County just in the last hour, but wasn't severe. But you see it there zipping on rapidly through the Wake Forest area. Quick half inch of rain caused some minor flooding there in some spots as those storms moved on through. These will be advancing towards the Virginia border in the next hour or so and be gone, but others developing into the afternoon could easily produce some severe weather as well. You see all this activity spinning rapidly towards the north and east. When we pull back the view, you see there's more down into sections of South Carolina. But the immediate concern, of course, is those areas from about Lewisburg to Warrenton and back into northern Vance County, where the tornado warnings remain in effect. The tornado warning for northern Vance County does expire at 11 o'clock. The storm which prompted that warning has moved out of the area, and the warning will be allowed to expire. So for all intents and purposes, in northern Vance, that warning pretty much is canceled now. You don't need to really worry too much about northern Vance. But this one here into Franklin County and back into Warren County, that is in effect until 11:30. Those are the only warnings we have right now. You see some of our storm reports from earlier. This is as of 10:30, a funnel cloud sighted there just north of Henderson. That's what prompted the warning, also indicated by radar as well. So you want to take these seriously. Now that one is gone, but the ones we're watching now into areas of northern Franklin, Vance County, not Vance, excuse me, Franklin and Warren County. These storms moving off to the northeast at about 30-40 miles per hour. So Afton, Warrenton, and just west of Lewisburg, you want to just take cover until those storms pass. Other thunderstorms out across portions of western Chatham County. So far, no signs of any rotation with those. Also into Sampson County, that's actually moving into Duplin County right now. Could be making its way, though, into Wayne County shortly, also eastern Wayne County, but no warnings with those, as we mentioned. You can watch the view over the air on 11.2 and 11.3, and Time Warner 11.12 and 1.12 as well. Those, in case you're interested in watching. Now, it looks like Franklin County, that warning has been canceled for so southeastern Vance and Franklin County. Those warnings are canceled, and the warning for northern Vance will be allowed to expire at 11 o'clock. So really, the only area now of any possible concern would be areas of Warren County. So this is the warning now for western Warren County. Tornado warning in effect until 11:30. If you're around Afton, Warrenton, Norlina, want to just take cover. These are probably not going to impact any one area for very long. As a matter of fact, many areas won't see anything. The tornado was indicated by radar, and that means there was some rotation indicated by radar, and the tornado warning is issued. Many times that happens, that a tornado warning is issued based on a signature, and you don't necessarily have a tornado on the ground. We don't have any confirmation of a tornado in sections of Warren County just yet, but we did in Vance County at around 10:30 this morning, just a little while ago. The funnel cloud was sighted, but that's moved on out. So this tornado warning, again, in effect for areas of Warren County, up towards Norlina. You want to just go ahead, take cover, and just be on the safe side. As you see on this latest view of the rotation, you don't get real strong signatures with this, but nevertheless, this area here of southern Warren County, from about Afton to Warrenton, a possible tornado. You want to just take cover and just ride the storm out and just go to the safe place. Remember, easiest place to go, just go into the lowest floor, go to the lowest floor, get in a hall, closet, bathroom, anything in the middle of the house, cover your head, and wait for the storm to pass. These are moving very quickly, so they'll be out of here in the next 25 or 30 minutes. Scott's standing by with another look at the radar, sort of a tilted view. We can see the heights of the storms there, Scott.
Yeah, let's go to Weather Source 1 here, and what we can look at is a 3D image of this storm. As you can see, not a lot going on in the triangle right now, but we're watching some cells over towards Chatham County. But the one we're watching very closely right now is up towards Franklin County into Warren County, and you can see we're looking at this cell, and we're looking on the east side of it, rotating around, and it's that cell right there that you're looking at where you're seeing a little bit of a notch there. That's the indication of a possible, where this storm could be indicating a possible tornado, as Chris was showing you. It gives you an idea of the height of the storm and where it's located north of Lewisburg. So it's looking like it's heading towards Norlina or in that general direction. Looking at the bigger picture here, Chris talked about the ingredients in place. What we have is we have the circulation associated with remnants of Lee. That's located in northwestern Georgia. We are north rather of a cold front that's located down towards Georgia and South Carolina. Ahead of it, we're in this very tropical air mass, and so you're seeing these showers and thunderstorms popping up, and because we have this wind shear where the winds at the surface are coming in from the southeast, but aloft they're coming from the south-southwest, that causes these individual cells to sometimes start to rotate, and we're seeing that indication over towards that one cell over north of Lewisburg. But any of these cells that you're seeing here, we're going to have to watch very closely because they could spin up a weak tornado. So the tornado watch is in effect until 2 o'clock for the entire area. We're seeing that blue area, that purple, that's the warning that's going on right now. It has now been canceled for Franklin County and is now for Warren County. So let's talk about some things that you should do. Avoid windows. Go to the lowest floor of your central room, closet, pantry, stairway, hallway, or bathroom, and cover yourself with blankets or pillows to protect yourself from falling debris, because these types of situations, you don't want to wait for to see the tornado. You want to make sure that you get to a place of safety before it arrives. And there's the latest imagery right there, Chris, of where we're possibly seeing that circulation.
Right, Scott. This is a live look at our velocity. Again, that's just showing, as we say over and over, and you may have heard before, where the air is going away from and towards the radar site. And it's that region there along Highway 401 south of Afton. We're seeing a little bit of a signature still where there could be some rotation. This is traveling northeast pretty quickly. So if you're in any of these areas of Warren County now, that's the only county that's under a tornado warning at the moment. All other counties, the warnings for Granville, Vance, Franklin have all been cleared. So far, no reports of any damage. As we zoom into this region, we'll get in as close as we can to see if we can get any streets here where there may be the tornado could be possibly a tornado on the ground. Let's just put some of these streets here that we have. This is looks like Shaco Springs Road, and over here towards Shepherd Road. This area, this is the spot where there could be a possible weak tornado on the ground. You want to take cover. It's moving quickly off to the northeast. This area here is Limertown Road in parts of Vance County, excuse me, Warren County, and north of there. Anything north of there too. You want to take cover, just be on the safe side until the storm passes. Moving along pretty quickly, 30, 40 miles per hour. So it's these aren't slow-moving storms as we had a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it was last Monday in Edgecombe County. Those were only moving at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. We'll pull back the view again and show you again what we're talking about here in parts of Warren County. The warning for Vance County expires at 11, and that storm is gone. It's really just Warren County now. If you're around Warrenton, you want to go ahead, take cover, because the storm moving off as we lapse this a little bit, be able to see the storm moving off towards the northeast at about 30, 35 miles per hour. So it'll be moving in on Warrenton, perhaps Macon. The storm, you're already getting some showers and thunderstorms as well, but you'll be able to see the storm again. There is the weak rotation. Not seeing a really strong signature, but a weak tornado is 80, 70, 80, 90 miles per hour. That can do some damage. So just go ahead and stay indoors, head for cover until the storms pass. Tornado watch in effect for the rest of the region until 2 o'clock this afternoon. These showers and storms, which have been to the west of us for the most part over the weekend, are now beginning to move our way, and we'll have a rather stormy, at least off and on stormy afternoon across the region. There's Highway 158, Highway 58, US 401, all of these areas around Warrenton. These are the areas that you want to just take cover. Pull back the view, go show you the what we're showing on the radar in terms of rainfall here on our live Doppler radar. Here it is again, this area. Let's show you this right here. There we go. You can see these storms really taking off towards the north and east. The good news is all of these storms we have in sections of Chatham County, Lee County, into Wayne County. No warnings with those, and the warning for Franklin County has expired as well, and the warning for Vance County expires or is expiring as we speak. This is the only warning into Warren County right now, a tornado warning in effect until 11:30. These quick spin-up tornadoes, rather tough to detect on radar sometimes because the rotation is fairly weak, but nevertheless, if they're under a warning there in Warren County, that could be extended up into sections of Mecklenburg County, Virginia, too. So I want to take cover. Those are the areas. All other spots pretty much in the clear in terms of severe weather at the moment. John's standing by with more. Hey, John.
Hey, Chris, just a quick programming note. We will continue to stay with this breaking weather coverage until everyone is out of harm's way, because that is our first priority. If you're interested in watching the new episode of The View, you can do so by turning to 11.2 or 11.3 over the air. If you're a Time Warner cable subscriber, The View will be on channels 1112 or 112. I want to show you some live pictures now from Breaking News 1 on the road. In Franklin County, heading towards Warren County. You see very heavy rain there. These pictures coming to us via broadband, and our digital journalist Matt Mendez is behind the wheel. Hopefully he's being very careful there. Very heavy rain falling, and he's going toward where right now the severe weather cell is appearing. So we will continue to follow what he has to say. Right now, we want to go back to meteorologist Chris Homan and Scott Dean, who have the latest on this storm.
Okay, John, thanks a lot. If we can, let's go to Weather 7, show you look outside with our AccuView camera at RDU Airport. A shower passed on by there earlier, and you see some stormy clouds there, but no imminent showers or storms around. Flights taking off and on as usual. I noticed as I was driving in anyway, temperature 83, humidity very high, tropical air mass in place, and that's what's fueling these thunderstorms. Let's go over to First Alert Doppler XP on Weather 3. You see a jet there arriving at the Terminal 2 at RDU. Only warning in effect again until 11:30 for Warren County. You see on First Alert Doppler XP, got just widespread showers and storms north of the triangle and west of the triangle, but not a whole lot going on right around the immediate triangle, at least around Wake County and Durham. You get back into sections of Orange and Chatham County, then you do see some showers and storms that are still occurring. But this tornado warning in effect, been several warnings through the morning hours. All began around 5:30, then a bit of a break around 7:30. Steve Stewart in then, and then it started up again around 9 or 9:30. But this tornado warning still in effect for Warren County. So if you're around Afton, Warrenton, up towards Macon, even Norlina, you want to take cover. There is a new, not a warning, but just a statement about some strong storms that are moving through Orange, Moore, Chatham, and Alamance counties. All these storms are moving off to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. If anything else, if nothing else, winds to 30, 40 miles per hour, and some minor flooding will occur in these storms. Check out the rainfall rates as these storms move on in. The rainfall rate here, 2 inches per hour. Now, since they're moving at 30 to 35 miles per hour, you don't get 2 inches of rain, but you can get a quick ½ inch to an inch, especially if you get under a couple of those as they pass on by. So be on the lookout for some minor flooding, too, as you head out and about once that warning expires there in Warren County. And also other areas you see across the region, pretty heavy rainfall rates here into sections of Chatham and Moore and Lee County. Same thing, 1 to 2 inch rainfall rates in some of these areas here of into Alamance County too, back into Lee County. So minor flooding can cause some street flooding, make for rather difficult travel. Never want to travel through a flooded roadway too. You want to just turn around, go somewhere else, or wait for that to move on by. Otherwise, don't see a whole lot of activity across, say, Wake County. There was a heavy shower over northern Wake, but that's moved on by. So the immediate concern, again, if you're just joining us, tornado warning in effect until 11:30, next 20-25 minutes for Warren County here, especially this area here near Afton. There may be no reports yet, but there could be at least weak tornado on the ground right in this area here, just to the east of Afton, where you see this sort of difference in colors here is where the radar is seeing possible rotation right there just south of Warrenton. Again, no reports of even anyone seeing one yet. At times we'll get, say, the highway patrol, the public spotted a funnel or a tornado on the ground. Haven't gotten that, but still, this area here, which is just south of Warrenton, is where there may be at least some rotation that you want to take cover and just ride out the storm, put on some of the streets here. But again, if you're around Warrenton and just east of Afton, you want to take cover until this storm passes. This is where there could be the tornado right there, at least the rotation. May see a funnel cloud, possibly. Not getting any reports of that, as we mentioned, but this is the spot right in here. Some of these areas, we'll put on some of the streets here and show you what we're talking about. It's right in here around us. This is State Road 1602, excuse me, and this is Rifle Range Road in Warren County, just south of Warrenton, and it's just a few miles south of downtown Warrenton right now. The rotation, not necessarily a tornado. That's Baltimore Road in downtown Warrenton right here, or at least in the city right here across southeastern parts of the town. So again, if you're around Warrenton, anywhere east or north of there, you want to take cover until this storm passes. Another 25 minutes on the tornado warning, and if it doesn't, if the signature remains there, the National Weather Service could extend that warning for a time longer until it potentially moves on out. So it's again this area here where there could be at least a rotation that may have a weak tornado in it. As it moves off to the northeast at 35, it's closing in, as you see, rapidly on our live sweep of velocity, moving in rapidly on Warrenton now. So folks are just to be on the safe side. Again, no reports of the tornado, but you want to take cover right away. Scott?
All right, let's go to Weather Source 2 here. And you know what's interesting that I've noticed here, Chris, is this is the only cell that has quite a bit of cloud-to-ground lightning with it.
Right.
So it's certainly the strongest cell that we're seeing, and the one that has the possibility of the tornado. We're looking at other cells to the south and west with some very heavy rain, but none of these are showing at least a tornado threat, at least not right now. But what they are showing at times when we see these little areas of green around Sanford, that's where the radar is picking up some inbound winds that are coming towards the radar site, which is up to the north, the upper right-hand portion of your screen, and that's an indication that there could be some strong winds, not associated with a tornado, but could be associated with straight-line winds. And we already had a report of a tree down in the Raleigh area with apparently some straight-line winds that came through earlier on. And as we put on the reflectivity here, there's the latest imagery right there, that cell coming right through Sanford. Even though there's not a threat of a tornado right now, certainly some gusty winds, also some very, very heavy rain. That's the thing that's been impressive with these cells, is how quickly the rain starts to come down, because we have such a tropical air mass in place with these cells to work with. And another thing, we talked about this earlier, but I'll hit upon it again, is when you have a tropical air mass, the cloud base is fairly low to the ground. So if you get a weak spin up or rotation, it doesn't take a whole lot for it to reach the ground. And that's why a lot of times you get tornadoes, because of that situation, that ingredient, and also the wind shear that we're talking about. We've only had one report of a touchdown in Pinehurst, or just southeast of Pinehurst, and that other funnel cloud that was north of Henderson. So far, we've not had any reports of anything with this cell right now. But as we put on the velocity here from the National Weather Service, and as I loop it back here, we'll go back in time, you can see where that area of white. And what's interesting is, you saw it a little bit more in alert, where you're seeing the reds and the whites come together, and a little less so, but still just south of Liberia. I would get to a place of safety in Warren County. We're not seeing the signatures that we saw on April 16th. That was a very rare event that we see here in North Carolina. Those type of signatures you see more like in the Plain States and the Midwest, but not so much here in North Carolina. This is more typical of what we see. Tropical spawn tornadoes that are weak, that are fast moving, and carry their own danger because they move so quickly, right, Chris?
Right, and they spin up very quickly, too. Sometimes you don't really get a warning until there is a tornado on the ground. But in this case, the National Weather Service is spotting that rotation. So far, no reports of this tornado in Warren County on the ground. No reports of any damage from this. No reports of any sightings of even a funnel cloud. At 10:30, if we go over to Weather 3, we can show you that just west of there, as that line of storms moved across the areas near the border, you can see that this area right here where you see the little, well, went away, there it is. This little tornado right here in just around Henderson. That was a funnel reported at 10:30 in the morning. This morning, a funnel cloud sighted just around Henderson along Interstate 85. But no reports of it touching down and no reports of any damage coming in at all. No reports of any damage really, as Scott mentioned, except for the confirmation in Moore County, which is good news. There have been, if I read correctly yesterday, as of yesterday, 22 tornadoes spawned by Lee across the Gulf states into Georgia over the weekend. So as the remnants of the storm, the area of low pressure, it's extratropical now, move into Middle Tennessee and into our mountains actually later in the day, we get under the gun for some isolated tornadoes as well. But the only warning right now is for Warren County, this tornado warning in effect until 11:30 for much of Warren County. If you're really anywhere in Warren County, especially around Warrenton where you see these cloud to ground strikes, that's where we're seeing really the strongest rotation is in those areas. I just got an email from a viewer that says they live along US 401 and they just saw a small rope-style tornado drop down across US 401. It doesn't say exactly where towards Alert, North Carolina. I assume that's in Warren County or Franklin County, right, Scott? Yeah.
South of the Warren-Franklin County line.
Yeah, exactly. Moving towards Alert. Yeah, exactly. So, so somebody did, at least a viewer saw some sort of a rotation there from that storm. So it's right around Warrenton right now. If you're around Warrenton, in Warrenton, Macon, any of these areas in Warren County, you want to take cover. This is in from the National Weather Service. A Doppler radar continues to indicate a tornado just south of Warrenton, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Now, as you see on our live look here, it's really this possible rotation is right over Warrenton right now. So you can see as we put on some of these streets here, this is the area where you want to just go ahead and just take cover if you're not haven't already around Warrenton. This is where there may be Baltimore Road. This is a live velocity, so this is sweeping around on a live look, not any delay on this in terms of you know, where we see the velocity.
Boy, and that's really important in these types of situations when these tornadoes are moving at 40, 45.
Right. You know, the National Weather Service Doppler does an excellent job. We only get a new view of it every 6 or 7 minutes. So a storm that's moving 30 miles an hour in 6 minutes can obviously move several miles, and that's the difference between your neighborhood and potentially some other. But this is right in here, Warrenton, especially the east side of Warrenton, but really anywhere in Warrenton and Warren County, you want to take cover. The tornado, possible tornado moving northeast at 30, so take cover now. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you're in a mobile home or vehicle, move or outdoors, move to the closest substantial shelter. And always remember, if no shelter is available, it's better to be out, especially in a mobile home. You want to abandon those, but it's just best to lie down in a low-lying area and protect yourself from flying debris. There is heavy rain in this as well, and that's one thing we haven't mentioned in the last few minutes anyway, Scott, is many times our tornadoes are wrapped in rain.
Right.
You can't see them. We have the hills, the trees, you know, out in the plain states. They're very easy to see because the ground is flat and there aren't that many trees, and that's why the tornado chasers, the storm chasers are out there, because they can see what they're looking for. Here, our tornadoes tend to be wrapped in rain, which makes them very hard to see, and of course the hills and the trees also obscure the visibility or the ability to see any tornado if there is one. So again, right around Warrenton, this is where there could be a tornado on the ground, possible road. There's the rotation anyway, moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So you want to take cover and wait for the storm to pass. It'll be out of Warrenton in the next 5 or 10 minutes, but then head up towards northern parts of Warren County.
Yeah, actually, I think we have a picture of a funnel cloud, right, John?
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. We have a picture of a funnel cloud that was sent in to us from a viewer in Durham. This is the water plant on Infinity Road, and it doesn't seem to me as if it is touching down. You meteorologists can give me more information on that, but this is
it's tough to see, John, or to tell because of the, like Scott said, the tree line there. It may be behind the tree, but I assume this is northern Durham County because that warning was issued.
Yeah, around the Bahama areas where we started to see that rotation begin to tighten up. So and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing these images where you know, get a tightening up of the signature, then it weakens, and that looks very typical of a type of tropical tornado. It's not this classic one you see out in the plains. It's low to the ground, and that looks at least menacing.
Right. So, yeah, if nothing else. No reports of any damage coming in from northern Durham County, though, so far.
No, just heavy rain. Also, we want to let viewers know, if you have a picture or video that you can safely get, you can send it to us at youreport@abc11mail.com. We want to emphasize here, please do not put your safety in jeopardy as you do so. And remember, you can sign up for Safety Net. I have it on my cell phone right now. It's a free service that will alert you to severe weather heading your way any time of the day or night. You can register right now at abc11.com. Back to you, Chris and Scott.
Okay, John, thanks a lot. Yeah, make sure with those pictures that if you do take them, that you're very safe. We don't want you to head out in a storm and get hurt just to send us a picture. A new statement in from the Weather Service about some thunderstorms across Wayne, Johnson, and Wilson counties. If we'll go to First Alert Doppler XP on Weather 3, and first show you, if you're just joining us, that the tornado warning still in effect for Warren County until 11:30. A lot of heavy rain there around Warrenton. Possible tornado, too, right around the city. At least the rotation is right around the city of Warrenton right now, moving to the northeast. Around Macon, it looks like it's actually a little bit now to the east of Warrenton and just south of Macon in Warren County. So those are the areas. Go over to Weather 2 real quickly if we could. And Scott's showing the velocity there. That area of grayish color that's surrounded by the red, that's where there could be a weak rotation there. Highway 158, that's the business and the main highway. And just around Macon, you want to just take cover until that storm passes. It'll be going through town and be out of there in the next 15 minutes at the very latest, the next 5 or 10 minutes. But
yeah, there's some more roads right there, some neighborhood roads, Chris, that I think need to be aware of.
Right. This area right around Macon, and if I'll go over to, we'll get the live look at the velocity here and get maybe a better look of exactly where that may be as it's still in about the same spot. Go over to Weather 3 if we can. This is our live velocity, and again, right around Macon, just south of town, but definitely
in that
area, you want to just take cover. That's where we're seeing. There's a live sweep there. Just crossing over, it looks like that's Highway 158 there.
Yeah,
west
the business route. That's
the business route. So just take cover. Get no reports of any injuries today. We haven't had any real significant reports of damage. Moore County, we do know there was a tornado that was on the ground, but no reports of any significant damage. And that's the good news with these tropical tornadoes, if there is any, is they tend to be weak, but they can still cause damage. Now, this is a wide view. You see over Wayne County and into Wilson County, too. We've got some showers and thunderstorms. These are not producing tornadoes, no warnings with these, but they can spin up quickly. So you just want to be on standby just in case any one of these, anywhere you see a thunderstorm out there, Wilson County, Wayne County, Johnston County, especially Lee and into Chatham County, that's a pretty heavy cell. They can, any time they could produce a weak tornado. So you want to, again, just be on the lookout. No warnings with those. It's just a tornado watch for everyone, but just be aware that you may need to take cover pretty quickly as these storms again, can produce tornadoes very quickly in this type of environment. But so far, that's the only warning. Warren County, a tornado warning in effect. You see on that velocity there, really don't see a whole lot into Lee County, so that's some good news. But Warren County, the only warning, next 12 minutes or so, have a tornado warning in effect for Warren County. Scott?
All right, let's take another look at this 3D image here that you can only see at ABC 11. And it shows, if we go to Weather Source 1 here, it will show you the height of these storms. As you can see, we zoom into that one cell now north of Lewisburg. There's the back end edge of it right there, just south of Norlina. As we zoom around, you can see how we're seeing a little bit of that appendage there as we look on the east side of it. And where you're seeing that cell, where you're seeing Warren through that cell, that's the area that we're watching very closely for the possibility of some rotation. And these storms are taking advantage of some of the shear that we're seeing with this area of instability ahead of what was Lee. You can see the individual cells popping up. It would be better if we saw these cells that were embedded close to one another, but since they're separate individual cells, they have a tendency to want to rotate on their own. They can take advantage of that shear a little bit better. And what we have here is the tornado threat. And we are right in this zone where the cold front is to our south, down in western South Carolina. The circulation with Lee, what's left of it, is in northern Georgia. So we're in this zone, this this warm sector where we're seeing the possibility of the ingredients come together where we have these possible tornadoes. So that's why we're under this tornado watch until 2 p.m. And Chris, it wouldn't surprise me, unfortunately, if the Storm Prediction Center doesn't extend this into the afternoon if we continue to see these cells like this.
Yeah, I think unless everything starts to wind down, which it probably won't, Scott, we'll probably see an extension, at least for some areas. But go over to Weather 3 again, the area of rotation that could have, if we could to Weather 3, there you go, that may have rotation there right around Macon and a little bit west of there in Warren County. That's the area that has the potential for a tornado. No reports of any damage coming in, as we keep saying, but highways 1315, 1316, all of these areas here, Doc Thompson Road, around Macon, anywhere in this vicinity of Warren County, you want to take cover and just to be on the safe side. You can see as we put on the amount of rainfall, that's some fairly heavy rain too that's moving in. Rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches are possible as these thunderstorms move on by. I know as I was coming in into northern Wake County, a really heavy shower, lots of lightning, and then the sun was out. It moved by very quickly, but it dropped about a ½ inch of rain in just about 20-30 minutes as it moved on by. And that'll be the story through the afternoon hours as these thunderstorms continue to develop as we get some heating of the day as well. You see those heavy rain bands moving in. That's the only warning, though, we've got now for Warren County, a tornado warning in effect until 11:30. Other showers and thunderstorms, though, across portions of Alamance County into Chatham County and Orange County. These are all moving quickly, 30-35 miles per hour. Brief heavy rain, some cloud to ground lightning. Really not going to see much in the way of hail with these, I don't think, but certainly some could see some gusty winds too. But the main threat today is not so much even damaging winds. You can see that in some of these, but it's the isolated tornadoes as opposed to damaging winds. This time of year, we don't get many tornadoes unless it's a tropical system because we're getting into the fall season. There it is again, the tornado warning that's in effect until 11:30 for Warren County, especially this area right around Macon and north of there. If you live north of Macon into northern Warren County near the Virginia border, you want to just go ahead and take cover as this possible tornado is making its way towards the northeast at about 30-35 miles per hour. There you see again these colors. You don't see a real strong signature there, but right in this region just north of downtown Macon, that's where there may be a tornado or at least a funnel cloud, some type of rotation that's just north of Macon moving northeast at about 30.
And we did get a report of at least a rogue tornado possible earlier with this cell as it moved through Franklin County, is now north of that area. Also watching some other cells as well that, could you say that again in my ear? Someone was talking? Okay. Okay, we have a picture, I believe, near Lewisburg of a possible funnel cloud. If we can show, there we go, right there, Chris. That looks menacing.
Yeah, that definitely looks like at least a funnel there, Scott. And this is what, near Lewisburg and Warren County. So this is the storm that's now into Warren County that prompted the warnings for Franklin and Warren County.
And this is very typical.
Looks small.
This is what we would expect: a weak tornado, a fairly small tornado, one that's probably 50 yards wide, maybe 100 yards wide. They tend to be small, they tend to be weak, but still they can do some damage. And if you're in the path of one of these things, it doesn't matter how big it or small it is.
Right.
You still can do some damage, and that's why we take this threat very seriously.
Absolutely. So we'll stick with you until this warning expires, and hopefully there won't be any more, but it may be tough to get by the afternoon without at least a couple more in this type of environment. That tornado warning for Warren County until 11:30. That picture you just saw was from Franklin County. That's the storm that's prompted the warning into Warren County. Back to First Alert Doppler XP, and there again is the rotation. This area here, just north of Macon, is where there may be, this is at least the rotation that may spawn, and sometimes these skip. They get on the ground, they go back up, and they come back down, and the rotation we still see, but the tornado, if there is one, isn't on the ground that entire time. That's a little too close. Let's pull it back, and there's the whole wide view, and there's Warren County again. No reports of any tornadoes in Warren County just yet, but we saw the picture from Franklin County, and this area here, just to the north of Warrenton, around Macon. Actually, it's north of Macon now. This is going to be heading into southern Virginia very quickly in the next 15 minutes or so. So if the warning is extended, it'll just be for northern Warren County, I believe, Scott, because it is moving quickly. It's just north of Macon now. This area here, again, getting a little close. I'll pull back out. But north of Macon, northern Warren County, the southern part of the county still under the warning. But I think if you're anywhere well south of Macon and Warrenton to the south, you should be in pretty good shape.
What road is that right there, Chris, that we're looking at north of Macon?
That's Highway 1335 there.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. So generally in that area, if you live north of Macon, Macon, get to a place of
Highway
safety.
1306, sort of bounded by that, and it's moving pretty quickly, as we mentioned, 30, 35 miles per hour, so it'll be pushing towards the Virginia border very shortly.
And our live data streaming in here, velocity, really showing that area once again, which is vital because you're seeing live data. You just saw the sweep go by. That's where it is, located just to the west of 1335. If we can go to weather source 2 here, because I'm looking at another storm that is now around the Moncure area. This is showing an interesting signature here. Certainly the possibility of some straight line winds with this, and as we put on the velocity, this is what we look for. And there's that green indication of some enhanced winds that are moving up into the Moncure area right along Highway 1. And as we lapse this, you can see how it moved through Sanford. You probably had some gusty winds over towards the Collin area and now moving towards Moncure. So you might see some gusty winds in Moncure, if you're not already seeing that, very soon as that cell's moving through right now. Put on the velocity or the reflectivity that we're accustomed to seeing. And as we dissect this cell, we have a little bit of a notch here, and sometimes when you have a back-end notch, that's an indication of the winds pushing out ahead. So this would be the area right around Moncure where we're seeing the possibility of some strong winds. So these cells not only carry a tornado threat, there you go, there's the latest image right there, now moving into around Jordan Lake, so around the Farrington Village area, some other strong cells over towards Chapel Hill, west of Hillsborough, and all this activity continues to lift very rapidly to the north. But the cell that I'm going to be watching over the next very closely, not only the one to the north here that's showing the strongest indication over in Warren County, but this other cell, Chris. And this is the type of thing that we've seen. We've seen these cells pop up, and then very quickly they start to indicate an area of rotation or enhanced reflectivity, or excuse me, velocity on there. Steve was showing that very well with the cell that came through around Pinehurst over towards Southern Pines. And he said, this is a cell we're going to have to watch. And sure enough, the National Weather Service was looking at very closely, doing an excellent job in issuing that tornado warning for that area.
Right, and that's what, as you keep saying, they pop up pretty quickly, Scott, and all tornadoes do, but particularly these with tropical systems that can spin up very quickly. If we go back over to Weather 3, the only warning we have right now, Scott mentioned the one we're watching there in Lee County, but is for Warren County, and especially, I think if you're Warrenton and even towards Macon now, you're in pretty good shape. This area to the north is where we're seeing still some rotation here across portions of northern Warren County, just to the north of Macon. This is making its way towards the northeast very quickly. So if you're in this area of northern Warren County, you want to go ahead and just take cover and just ride out the storm until it passes across these areas of northern Warren County. Matt Mendez is just south of Macon. He's live in Breaking News 1. What you see out there, Matt?
Well, Chris, good morning. Unfortunately, we don't have a broadband signal up for you because we are out, as you mentioned, in a rather rural area. But the rain right now is about as extreme as I've seen it in our area. It is extremely heavy rain right now. We're about 1 mile outside of downtown Macon, in the area between Warrenton and Macon, right now heading north on 158. So we are behind the area of rotation you've been talking about, but as we've moved along here, and we've been taking it very slow, obviously, and keeping a close eye on our surroundings, but what we've been seeing, a lot of flash flooding, a lot of standing water, and in some cases, some wind, but like you mentioned, these areas of rotation are very isolated, and really the wind has been calm the most. It's been the rain that's been extraordinarily heavy, the flooding. We haven't seen any hail, like you mentioned. We have seen some cloud-to-ground lightning about 2-3 miles in front of us here as we've been driving along. But for the most part, it's just a heavy rain that is just pounding this area relentlessly right now. And as I said, we're continuing to the north here to see what we can see. Haven't seen any storm damage related to any possible rotation or tornado on the ground, and we haven't seen that either. But at this point, we're just trying to stay behind the storm and stay safe and try and get a good sense here of what damage, if any, this storm may have done. And as of this point, it doesn't look like any significant damage other than some trees down and flash flooding, Chris.
Okay, Matt, thanks very much. Great report. We appreciate that. Stay safe. We'll check back with you as you head north into portions of Warren County there. You're looking at a live view there of our velocity data on First Alert Doppler XP. And Matt, just south of that area, he's around Macon. It's this region here that's just north of there. You see our live sweep go by, Highway 1335, Highway 1306. That's where there's at least the rotation. But good news, Matt's been traveling through Warren County and not getting any reports of any damage there.